Happy Tuesday.
Hey now, happy tax day.
Oh, yeah, tax day. Boo.
Oh, yeah. Happy tax day to all y'all.
So we hope that you guys are having an amazing week so far. Eddie and I are pretty sleep deprived right now, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I would.
And we're going to explain.
We will,
why we
but we
are
got to
so
say hi.
sleep-
We got Gary Manning in here.
Hi, Gary and
Kathy
Kathy Mills and Millie. And
Cruising with Wheels. Hey, Cruising with
Hi,
Wheels.
Cruising with Wheels.
Welcome aboard. I love your channel, guys.
Yeah.
Cruising with Wheels.
Let's start at the beginning.
Very
Clock
cool.
Family Adventures. We have an announcement to make with them tonight.
Lisa is in here. Mama Huddles is in here.
Yay.
Cruise Nuts. Clock, as you said.
Yep. Have
our
Luggage
buddy.
Will Barbecue. Have Luggage Will Travel. We'll be here shortly.
Carson, one of my handsome sons.
Katie P.
I don't know where the other handsome son's at.
Did you say Mama Huddles?
Yep. Have Pitbull Barbecue.
We said Mama Rackus, my mom.
Millie, the Millster.
The Millster. Cruise Nuts, we said Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Nice seeing Gary Manning in here. We're going to be sailing with Gary Manning, I think, in 31 days.
Dina's here. Will G's here. Yay. All the crews here.
Oh,
so, Eddie, why are we so sleep deprived?
Well, guys, last night.
Well, not last night. Let's start with Saturday.
Oh, well, we were Saturday, too. Well, Saturday night, we just dozed off, and then
that sweet spot, that minute where like you just fall asleep and you're like, oh yeah,
just falling asleep, and we hear a rattling,
very loud,
real violent, loud rattling, and our Labradoodle Max, he's a tall, skinny dog. He's like 65 pounds.
Yeah,
Labradoodle, half Labrador, half poodle, mostly poodle.
Mm-hmm.
He was in his crate, and he's been crate trained since he's been, a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep him in his crate. We keep crate train him to keep him from getting stuff off the counters and stuff like that, and getting,
hurting himself
and mischief that can hurt himself, that kind of thing. Sometimes we let him sleep in a bed with us, but 99% of the time he likes his crate.
He does prefer his crate.
He's got memory foam.
Our bed is too hot for him.
He has a crate for a Great Dane. It's absolutely huge. So anyways, we hear the rattling. We run over to his crate, and he's having a seizure. And
okay, you guys, I'm still devastated. I'm like PTSD over this.
It's the first time
he's ever had a seizure. I never seen a dog have a seizure before.
And
it was awful.
And he's 5 years old.
Yeah.
And he's our baby. We have 6 kids, but we don't have any together biologically.
Mm-hmm.
So Max, we adopted him after we were married for a year, and he is our baby.
Mm-hmm.
And
we basically, all we could do was we opened the door of his crate, and Eddie kind of cradled him. We talked to him lovingly, kind of stroked him and told him we love him, and kind of calmly talked to him. It only lasted about a minute. And then after the seizure stopped, then it probably took him another, what would you say, about 30 seconds before he became
another full minute.
Yeah, before he became cognizant again. And he was sleeping. So I don't think he knows that any of that happened. And he woke up and he was like, "What's up, Mom and Dad? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
And I was too afraid to put him back in his crate because, of course, we immediately start doing research on Google about what exactly it means when your dog has a seizure and what do you do about it. And
Tammy says our Great Dane had seizures.
Oh, hi, Tammy. Oh, man, Tammy, will you message me and just tell me about your experience with that, Tammy, because
now
it's been devastating.
The vet told us to monitor him. If he had another seizure within 24 hours, to bring him in right away, but to watch him, and it could be a one-time thing. It could be something he has occasionally, but they won't put him on seizure medication unless they have a tendency to have seizures. Yeah. So he's got to have at least another one.
It's basically one of two things. Either he ate something toxic, could have been a toy, or maybe one of the kids dropped a piece of chocolate out of their Easter basket.
Actually something with artificial
sweetener.
What is it, xylitol or something?
Yeah.
Starts with the next sweetener
that can trigger, or he may have epilepsy. So we will have to see.
Yeah,
Gary said
Gary,
that his
same thing.
oldest, yeah, lots of
Um,
devastating.
well, he's only 5, and that's what's scary about it, because
Mhm.
him being 5 years old is kind of scary, and he's a super healthy animal.
Look,
So
Cruise Nut says that their 14-year-old dog has them every once in a while. I mean, I guess it's more common than we realize. We've never,
oh no, it's common, but
yeah,
we just never had it with all the
no.
dogs we've had between us, and before we got together,
Mhm.
and now we have a pack of dogs.
Yeah.
Right now we have Taylor is staying with us, and her 2
Mhm.
dogs are with us.
Yes.
So we have
We have
Dogapalooza
we
going on
have
here.
Huddle Hound House up in
Yeah.
here right now.
Huddle hounds.
Yes.
Huddle mutts.
Yeah.
All right. So then, if that wasn't enough,
I couldn't go back to sleep that night. Neither one. And he had to work the next
Of
day.
course.
And I couldn't sleep. I was just so
So I
devastated.
worked yesterday, and then everything was fine. He slept. We let him sleep with us the rest of that night, and then the second night we let him sleep with us,
Mhm.
and just to keep a close
Last
eye
night
on him.
was the first night that we felt comfortable putting him back in his crate.
So
And I'm happy to report that since Saturday, we have had 0 max seizures.
no, he's been good. And we watched the Have Luggage Will Travel live stream,
Mhm.
one of our favorite live streams.
Yep.
That's like my favorite live stream. That's like my favorite cruise line, the Tail, sailing with the tail, not chasing the tail. And
Josh
but
always
anyways,
says he sails with the tail.
let's not get sidetracked.
I said that Eddie also chases the tail, and then I thought that was
that was in our
hilarious.
group chat.
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
But anyways,
So after Saturday,
last night last night after the live,
Mhm.
we went to bed, and I turned on
Hi, Troy.
Gladiator, laid there, started watching it for like the 100th time, and the next thing I know, Laura's like, Eddie. And I'm like, oh no. I wake up, I'm thinking it's Max. She's like, we forgot to check in for our cruise.
So we were supposed to check in for our Alaska cruise at midnight, and I woke up at 1:50 a.m. and I was like, Eddie, oh crap, we forgot to check in for our cruise. So I woke up and started.
Well, and I told her
groggy
instantly. I told her, I will check us in first thing in the morning when I get to work. I'll do it. I'll get us all checked in. And she's like, no, I'll do it. And she never does it. I always check us in. She checks us in for Royal on the last Royal cruise. And I think she checks us in for NCL too.
Yeah.
But I do
I don't
Carnival.
like getting up at midnight.
And, Carnival can be a little tricky with the check-in stuff and enter your flight stuff and all that stuff. And sometimes entering your card for your backing up your account, that can be kind of tricky.
Yeah.
But I do have a pro tip on that, guys. When you are checking in for Carnival, just skip through everything, pick your appointment time, save it, then go back in and add all the details.
Yes, because
especially if you run into anything that's like it isn't accepting something like your flight or your debit card or your credit card, any of that. Skip that, go right to the end, get your arrival appointment scheduled.
Why would you do that, Eddie?
What?
Because so that you don't get bounced out of your time slot.
Yeah,
you can go back in and enter all your information.
You get bounced out, and that's actually the best way to do it. Log in there and go all the way to the end and save it. It gives you your arrival appointment. Then go back in and add all your details.
So we were actually talking today about our shenanigans.
And we did ran into some problems. I'm like, I said, I got to get up in 3 hours. So I said, I go ahead and take care of it. And as soon as I laid there for a minute, I realized she doesn't have Peyton's ID. She doesn't have Carson's ID.
I don't have.
She doesn't have
TSA numbers. I don't have our
your known travel numbers.
Yep. What do you call it? The passport number.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of information I didn't have.
Everything had my debit card tied to
Jeremy.
it. So I had to get up anyways. Yeah. And then we get it all done. And then we start talking about the cruise, and then the next cruise we have, which is like in 31 days. And we're like, I forget what we're talking about on that. I went on there to look at something, and then they offered us an upgrade. So we looked at it and we're like, oh man, we can upgrade to a suite for $5.99.
Yeah, that's an upgrade for the FRGC.
Yeah,
cruise,
on the celebration. So we looked at it and we considered it for a minute. We're like, oh man, we can do a suite for $5.99 more. But the catch is, it's an ocean suite, okay, guys. And on the Excel class ships, if you're going to get a suite, you need to get an Excel class suite. That way you have access to Loft 19. An ocean suite will not get you access to Loft 19. You just get a slightly bigger room, and I mean it's slightly bigger,
not worth
and
it.
it's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth it. But if you get access to Loft 19, it's worth it because Loft 19 is really cool. It's like the Serenity deck, but better.
But what was hilarious is that it was 1:50 in the morning and we just woke up and we were super groggy and neither one of us were thinking straight, but we came to an intelligent decision together at 1:50 in the morning. Pound it out. Give me some love for that.
No, it was later than that. It was almost 3. And
Well,
we decided
by that time,
we
yeah.
weren't going to do it.
But it was pretty funny.
But we looked at it.
But yes, Gary Manning, it is a glorified balcony. Absolutely.
That's all it is. It's
Yes.
just slightly bigger. We already have a balcony.
Right.
And it's funny. We were on deck 15, and this thing was going to be at deck 9, 6 decks below us. Basically the same part of the ship, aft on the side, not aft facing, but on the aft.
Yeah, Mike Clark said Loft 19, Pinky's out. And the only thing that we would be able to do if we would have spent $600 to upgrade it was to say that we have a bigger balcony. Laura got a big old balcony. Oh, yeah.
But you know what? The thing is, Loft 19 really, it's not fancy. That's not, when you do Loft 19, that doesn't mean you have a cabana, okay? So anyone can rent a cabana up in Loft 19, and I think it's $500 a day, and I think it's for up to 6 people, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so what happens when you're up in Loft 19, even if you don't have a cabana, you have servers that run around up there, and they take your drink orders, and they run and get you drinks and bring them to you, which is really cool. And it's pretty exclusive, and they have a really big whirlpool. I don't know if it is a whirlpool, but it has a glass side where when you're in it, you're looking down at the
solarium area.
It's actually not called solarium.
What do they call it? The Serenity.
You look at the Serenity deck, the Serenity pool. You can see all that down there. It's pretty cool. Now we know because we were granted free access to Loft 19.
And you have to admit, we really enjoyed that. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was cool.
So Tony G asked, will anyone be booking Sun Princess Caribbean sailings tomorrow? We are not.
No.
We have 3 cruises in the next 9 weeks. So while we have 2 cruises that we want to book, we got to wait a minute because we got a lot of cruising going on.
We have 2 cruises in the next 30 days.
Yep. And then another one thereafter. So we got to pull the reins just a tad.
It's I only get so much time off, guys. So, and then 2024 is already shaping up. 2024 is already becoming tight. The schedule's becoming tight.
We got one more cruise.
We got one more we can squeeze in there.
Yep.
And there's a couple different options we're looking at. But we're going to do a back-to-back in 2024 in April.
Yep.
We're doing a panorama back-to-back. That's a West Coast, Western, the Mexican Riviera.
Yep.
We did the Mexican Riviera in October of 2021.
I loved the panorama. I loved that cruise.
It was just really cool.
It was awesome.
And so this time we're going to do the 7-day itinerary and 6-day itinerary on a panorama back to back, and that's going to be in April of 2024.
Gary said the brother from another cruise in March of 2020. But I can't go to that, Gary. You won't let me come.
Yeah,
I'm not a brother.
We are. So 2024 is crazy.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Oh,
it's Will and Lori Green.
Hi,
hey,
Lori.
Good to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see you guys.
That's like she said, it's been a kind of a tiring thing. Now
it has.
Now we thought about this. We talked about this today. We said, you know what? Is it worth it getting up at midnight or staying up to midnight? In our case, it's getting up at midnight because we go to sleep before then, man. I get up early every day. And
together we travel.
Is it worth getting up, logging in, and trying to get the earliest available arrival appointment you can get?
So before we tell you what we think about that, I'd like to hear your thoughts in the chat. Do you wait when you cruise Carnival? Do you stay up till midnight or wake up at midnight and log in? And do you really try to get the best time that you can, the earliest time that you can? And what do you think? I mean, Gary Manning says that he gets an arrival time after 1. All right.
Now see,
Amanda stays up. Josh goes to sleep.
Pre-pandemic, having the earliest arrival time is really important. And if you
So-
couldn't get it, you were actually better off doing what Gary's doing and arrive
Mhm.
late. That way you
Well, hold on. Will and Lori say that on their first 3 years that they did that, but then now they roll in late because they like that best. Tony G says that it's only 9 p.m. there on the West Coast. Kathy Mills says that she logs in at 12:01, but she's usually awake at that time anyway. Clock Family Adventures. I do it on Royal, but even when I don't get it, I just show up and act like I belong. He's that guy. That's so funny. Jennifer tries that. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. We're talking about on a Carnival cruise. Do you stay up till midnight and
14 days out.
Yeah, 14 days out to check in, like the second you're able to, and does an early time mean something to you? Together we travel. I'm usually up anyway, so I like to get that early arrival time.
Now I'm going to tell you something, guys. This is funny. I can't remember which cruise it was. I think it was a Celebration cruise. There was something up with that one, and
Royal's 45 days.
We couldn't log in at midnight for some reason. I can't remember what it was. There was something wrong and we couldn't do it. So we couldn't get into the system. The system crashed or something on our end was messed up. I forget what it was. So I told her, don't worry about it. I'm going to just get up in the morning and I'm going to so at 6 o'clock in the morning, I logged in, got us all checked in, and we ended up getting a half hour later than the people that were in the group that were in on Facebook that logged in at midnight. So 6 hours later, we were 30 minutes arrival time after them. So it doesn't, I really don't think it's that big of a deal as I used to. And a lot of times you rush, you're on the ship early and it's like, it's great. But you know, you're dragging around your carry-on luggage. You can't get rid of it yet. And it's the rooms aren't available yet. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be making such a big deal about it.
So Jennifer said that she's good with the later check-in. She's in the Pacific Standard Time, so she's usually up anyway to check in. You know, Jennifer, I agree with you. And I'll tell you, I believe Eddie is right that it was one of the cruises that we did. We couldn't, we literally could not log in fast enough. And we got it later. It was like 11.
No, it wasn't. We couldn't log in at all.
Yeah.
So I got up and did it in the morning. Yeah. I did it in the morning. We were like, oh, we're gonna get a super late time. And instead of 10:30, we got 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it was 11 o'clock. And you know what? It was amazing. I liked it.
Here's the thing too. So for the earliest times I saw for our cruise out of Seattle was I think I saw 11 a.m. I didn't see anything before 11 a.m. in the groups we're in, but a lot of people had 11:30, and we logged in at 2, and they logged in at midnight, and we still got 11:30.
Yeah.
So, but we're heading out to the West Coast, and going to 11:30 is going to be, you know, feeling like it's late at night because you know it's a West Coast deal
it's
for
like
us.
3 hours difference.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is we're flying. We leave Detroit at 7:55 Monday night, and we arrived there at 9:55 their time. So it's going to be.
So Will G said, get on the ship and go straight to your room. So basically, what we did, we got on the ship. We did not wait much at all.
We still got on the ship early, right? So it didn't matter.
So we got right on the ship. We grabbed lunch, and we went right to our room, and it was amazing. And ever since then, we have not been fighting for that early time.
But for today, though, that's why. When she wakes me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, I'll just log in the morning, and she's just panicking.
Well, I'm like, I'm up anyway, so I'll do
But
it.
you know, after you go through all your documents, after you wake up from being dead asleep, then we're wide awake. And then I didn't fall back to sleep until like 3:30, and I went in a little later today, so I got to sleep in until 5 or 4:50 or something. So I probably got a total of 4 hours of sleep last night. So it's pretty crazy. And then we had to have a super busy day today because I didn't get any sleep.
Well, Lori bring up a really good point. Showing up when all the elevators are open and working is way better than early and lugging carry-on everywhere, like you said. Absolutely.
We're doing something different on this cruise too. And we will be on the cruise ship this time in 2 weeks because we're sailing on a Tuesday. But we're coming back, and we have a super early flight back. Super early for us, 11:25 a.m. And that was our only option. So we are going to be self-assisting off the ship as soon as that thing stops moving, and we'll be hustling to the airport
So,
to make sure we
to
don't miss
wrap
our
up
flights.
is it worth staying up till midnight? There's pros and cons either way. Pros, I mean, you do get on the ship a little earlier if you don't mind having an adult beverage. Earlier in the day, you
And
can
we're
start.
we're
You
just
can
talking.
do that.
We're talking Carnival though,
Yeah.
because all the cruise lines are
Yeah.
not the same. NCL, I don't care what time your arrival time is.
hmm
They held us in the terminal and the waiting area for 2 hours, 2 solid hours, actually over
Yeah.
2 hours. We got there at 9:15, and they didn't let us in until 11:45.
hmm
That cruise line it's like it's 2015 there. It's like they haven't advanced at all when it comes to any of that stuff. It was crazy.
So Gary said, "Woo, cutting it close." Yeah, Gary, it sounds like it, but and as many cruises that we've been on, we've never not made it in time to make that flight. So
Well,
we'll see.
We're usually at the airport by 10 o'clock,
By
10:30
10,
when we're
yeah.
not even trying.
Yeah.
So
if we try, we
yeah.
figure,
Oh, what happens, right, guys? If you get an early flight, if you ever notice, like Carnival, they want to know your flights, your flight times. So when you log in and you check in, you put your flight time in. So when you get on the ship, what you want to do a couple days before you get off the ship, go to the courtesy desk, talk to them and let them know, hey, we have an early flight, and just let them know. And that way they call diamond and platinum and blah blah blah. But if you have an early flight, you go off with those guys. You get off first. But you have to self-assist. So you got to keep your luggage with you, get off the ship, and you can be off the ship by 7:30. You'll be off the ship. And it's 11:30 flight, and it's about 30 to 45 minutes to the airport from there. So we'll have plenty of time.
Yeah, we'll be all right. And if not, we'll catch the one after that. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
So the next thing
we'll
on our
catch
agenda,
the next one the next day.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what we had to do.
Yeah, very true. So our next agenda item, I'm very, very excited about this. So, we have a group cruise, the Tropic Like It's Hot group cruise. It is January 26th of 2025. We are going on Royal Caribbean, Harmony of the Seas, and we are going to my very favorite ports, to Cozumel, to Costa Maya, and to Honduras. Love all three of those ports.
Out of Galveston.
And our friend Mike Clark from Clark Adventures is just booked that this week.
Yep, he
through
booked
Amanda.
it, and we
We
got
so
Clark
excited.
Family Adventures.
So
Arc
with
Adventures.
Us, we have Clark Family Adventures, Mama's Adventures, and then we have JNS Adventures. Will also be on that cruise.
Yeah.
So we are so excited! Yay! It's going to be so much fun.
And we're working on some people that have luggage too.
We are working on people that own luggage.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do.
That are prone to travel,
That
and people that own pits.
I mean, if you own a pit and you have luggage, you should be traveling on the.
I just noticed that he should have pits because he has 2 armed pits.
I don't know what to do with him, Josh. I'm open to suggestion. But another thing I wanted to mention about Clark's Family Adventures, he is super close to a milestone in subscribers. So if one of our admins could please drop Clark Family Adventures, their page in the chat, so that people that are not subscribed to him can go subscribe.
Sadly, due to budget cuts, we can't afford moderators.
Yeah, we do. We got Josh in here.
Our moderators just do jokes.
They do jokes. Oh, they also read
Jennifer
books.
Tries That. Jennifer Tries That is here.
Hi, Jennifer. Welcome to the party. So we're just talking about our group cruise. Mike Clark from...
Hey, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking Shiraz red wine. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Shiraz Michelob Light.
Oh, that's Michelob Ultra. So
I just went back to 1987 again.
Yeah, you called it the wrong thing, but we'll forget.
Well, it was Michelob Light back in the day. And you know who was a spokesperson? Eric Clapton. Back in the 80s, guys.
Elisa's Adventures is here. Hi, Lisa. Happy Tuesday. We're so excited to have you.
Yes.
So we just announced that Clark Family Adventures is joining us on the Tropic Like It's Hot group cruise. If anybody is interested in more information about that, listen, dudes. The rates on these rooms for an Oasis class ship, $574 without the ports and the
547.
Is it 547? I'm so sorry.
And 817 for a ocean view balcony.
On an Oasis
Now,
class ship.
we didn't block the
7-day cruise.
We didn't block the interior facing balconies.
No.
And we should have blocked some of those, but
Yeah.
now we found out we can. If you want one of them, we can get one of those and put you in our group, because that's what Mike Clark wanted. He wanted a interior facing balcony.
Yeah.
I believe he got one over Grand Central. Now we just did that on Oasis of the Seas, and we had one facing the boardwalk, and I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
And I used my own personal bias, and I didn't ask Amanda to block any of those because for me, for another $75, I'd rather look at the ocean and not hear all the noise that you hear.
Somebody in our group cruise wanted to try it
They
out.
want to try it for
and
the
they
first time.
and they mixed
But
it up.
that was me, thinking, man, I wouldn't want anyone to do that. That boardwalk's loud. All right, so he didn't do the boardwalk. He's doing the other end of the ship.
Which will be better.
The Oasis class ships are kind of weird. They have openings at the back that go from deck 8 up, and then openings in the is it the front? No, that's the front. And in the back, it starts at deck 5, and that is where boardwalk is. So it's wide open, and we were up like on deck 9 or something. I think it goes to deck 10. So you got 5 decks of balconies facing in across each other.
Yeah.
And when you look down, you see boardwalk.
It's
you
pretty
see
cool though.
The carousel and everything that's going on down there. But you never notice how many people yell and scream on a cruise ship until you're in that kind of situation. You're hearing and
so at least
the aqua show is right there. So that 80s aqua show with Huey Lewis in the news screaming and yelling at 11 o'clock at night.
The Power of Love.
You can hear that.
So I dug the music, but Lisa said that she heard that those rooms are surprisingly quiet.
No, maybe the ones over Central Park.
The Central Park ones are lots of fun. It was fun looking down. Hey,
not
Julie.
over
Hi.
Boardwalk. So we just did it in December, and I'm telling you, it was the loudest.
It was pretty loud.
It was the loudest room that we've been in.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking. I'm talking loud. You have people doing the zip line right. They actually were zipping in right above our room. They were coming from up here across right above our room. I could see the cable disappearing right over when I looked out there.
Well, I'll message you what day we're in Cozumel because I can't remember off the top of my head, but we'll figure it out. But Amanda, you look that up. Amanda, will you put your information in there if anyone is interested in the Tropic Like It's Hot to get a quote or interested in possibly booking. And joining us? It's booking at HLT. No.
Have luggage will HLW travel.
Yes.
You can't do that when you're not drinking. .com. Okay.
His faith in me is inspiring.
No, we've been over this. All right. So
you're gonna look up what day we're in Cozumel. What day are we in Cozumel?
Okay, Harmony of the Seas. And we'll be in Cozumel on the perfect day, Friday,
January 31st.
Yeah. So
they'll be on the NCL Escape, and we're in Port on the. Oh, we're just gonna miss you, buddy. We're just gonna miss you.
We're definitely gonna be booking Paradise Beach.
Yes, for sure.
For Cozumel, we love Paradise Beach. So
on to our topic of the night.
Okay, so we thought a good topic would be how to save money on your cruise. Now, we cruise a lot for people that work full time and don't work in the travel industry, and we get asked constantly by friends, family members, coworkers, people in the comments sections on our social media accounts. How do you guys do it? How do you manage to do it? And a lot of people assume we are travel agents and we're getting some kind of, we're getting free cruises and stuff like that. I wish that was true, that we were getting free cruises.
We have spent a lot of unnecessary money, and over the last couple of years, we have really learned some very important and awesome cost-saving measures that have saved us a fortune.
So we're going to kick it off with the first thing, and it's common. It seems like common sense. The first thing is booking early to get the best price.
Yep.
So when you are considering a cruise, And this is really, it's really good to do it wide open, not having a time of year that you're trying to book, like a specific month you're trying to book. Keep your options open. And a theory you can follow is avoid picking any time of year when kids are out of school.
Mm-hmm.
When the kids are out of school in the summer and over the holidays, that's going to be your highest rates,
Yes.
because they know that you're going to be, families are going to be going cruising, and they want to
Absolutely.
take advantage of that.
Mhm.
So they jack the rates up.
Yep.
So when you start looking out in the future, what you can do, you can look like if you're doing a Caribbean cruise, the off season is basically, what is it, September to February?
Anytime that the kids are in school.
Basically, but
Yeah.
but in before
And no
spring break.
breaks. Right.
A lot of people will pull their kids out of school for spring break, even if it's not during their school's spring breaks.
Right.
That's not uncommon for families to do that kind of thing. So anyways, booking ahead of time. So you start looking at, what you might want to do, like an itinerary you might want to do. You might have a cruise line you like to cruise on, whatever. You go and you start looking. Once you find the cruise you like, the ship you like, the cruise line you like, then price it, try it in different months, and see what is the possible lowest rate. And you will find by doing this, sometimes just by moving your cruise, back a month or forward a month, it will be 25% less just by being flexible. But booking ahead of time is important. Like, for instance, and I'm going to give us some more promotional right here. Those cruise rates we have right now, they're going to go up.
Oh, for sure.
Those are good rates for right now. In 2025 in January, they're going to be higher. So by booking ahead of time and early, you're going to lock in rates that are more in line with what's going on right now in the cruise economy versus what may be going on later. And then the other thing too is, if you get a guaranteed rate and the rates drop, you can always get an adjustment.
Absolutely.
And so another thing to do is to book during Black Friday,
Mhm.
Cyber Monday.
And we actually took advantage of this. It was last year.
It was year before.
Year before, you're right. We got a Black Friday deal, and that's how we ended up trying our very first celebrity cruise. We got a 4-day cruise, all included, the drink package, the internet, specialty dining, a bunch of stuff. We spent like $1,200 for a celebrity cruise.
$400 onboard credit.
Yeah, with $400 onboard credit.
It was crazy.
It was amazing, and we had the best time on that cruise. So Black Friday deals.
We were completely flexible, so we're getting bombarded. So what you do is you sign up for every cruise line's mailing list, join their loyalty programs if they have one, and then just wait for the emails to come in.
Yeah,
and then Black Friday deals start rolling out. Check them out. We had no interest, or we weren't considering celebrity at all. We thought, man, that's an expensive cruise line.
Hi, cruising on the high season travel.
Hey, and we thought celebrity's too expensive, and we're not going to do it.
Nation.
So we take a look at it, and it's like, holy smokes, are you kidding me? That was cheaper than the 4-day cruise we did on the Magic with Carnival. Because when you start looking at the package includes drinks, Wi-Fi and gratuities. It's like that's the way to go. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday, again, being flexible and looking at all the options that come to your mailbox. And I love Carnival, guys, but if you really if you love cruising, I suggest you try as many cruise lines as you can.
Yes.
That way you can really find out what it's like on other cruise lines. It's a good thing. Now, we were racing to get to Platinum, which we will hit Platinum on the Family Reunion Group Cruise in May, which means we went from 0 to Platinum in 18 months. We went from
0 to Hero in 18 months.
Well, not Hero, but...
Hero.
0
Platinum is Hero.
So we started at the bottom. Now we're here. So we are going to, when we get off the Spirit in Alaska in a couple weeks from now, we'll be at 69 days at sea. And so when we board the Carnival Celebration for 8-day cruise, we'll have the Platinum cards waiting for us. So it's pretty exciting. But we were in a race to do that. And we would have done it sooner, but then we ended up doing some other cruises with some other cruise lines. So we did a cruise with Celebrity, a cruise with Royal Caribbean, and a cruise with Norwegian. Had we done Carnival, we'd be Platinum already. But lesson learned, all right? It's good being loyal to a cruise line. It's good knowing what you like, but it's also good to see what the other cruise lines have to offer, and you can get killer deals from the other cruise lines.
No worries, guys. We'll see you next time.
Oh, hey, no worries. And there's all the cruise lines are super competitive. The other time a year to look at booking is wave season, which is
Mhm.
from mid-January to mid-March of each year. That's when they're rolling out everything new. All these cruises are coming out for the next 2 years,
Mhm.
and you'll get some good
You'll
deals at
get
that
great
time of year
deals at
too.
that time. Yeah.
And that's really good. So what you do is, and we mentioned a flexible schedule. Being flexible opens up
Mhm.
your
It
opportunity,
does.
options for everything. It also, if you have to fly, you can. Right now, airfare is so expensive. You could price airfare and then try to find, hey man, airfare is really good on this, and the cruise might not be a super great deal, but maybe the airline is, the
Yeah.
airfare is. So
Yeah.
you got to look at everything when you're a
Yeah.
flyer, because it can all go together. Now, another thing we do is say, so we booked a cruise, and we always, guys, always price the airfare
Yes.
before you book the cruise,
Absolutely.
and realize that, all right, if it's 500 a person round trip right now, it could possibly go up a little bit if you
Mhm.
don't get those tickets right
And we're
now, or
going
it
to
could
talk
go
about
down.
that a little later in the in our tips here about the options for the airfare. That's like down here a little more. We're going to talk a little bit more about
Google
that.
Flights.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to do. And I was just going to bring that up
Oh,
right
go
now
ahead.
since we're talking
Yeah,
flights.
sure.
So what we do is we go to Google Flights, we type in the cruise city we're going to and what date we're going to go to, and we start watching it then. So once you sign into Google Flights, if you've ever used it before, Google Flights will notify you whenever there's a change in the price of the airfare for that flight. So they have multiple airlines flying to the port city, and it
Mhm.
will tell you which airline the rate went up on, went down on, and you can. Google Flights
Yeah.
monitors it for you. You don't have to book through Google Flights. You go right through your Delta app, your
Yeah.
American Airlines app.
But and
It
man, let me
alerts
tell
you.
you something about what that Google Flight system did for us. So we have 4 of us that are leaving in 2 weeks to go to Seattle for our Alaska cruise. So for the 4 of us, it was the cheapest that we found was around $2,000 with taxes and everything included for our flight. So we went as soon as we saw it go up and down, up and down, up and down. We booked it when it went back down
Well,
again.
when we first looked at it, was like $2,600.
Yeah.
Then it dropped down to
2,000, and we
$2,037.
booked it immediately.
Now
And
it's
now it's over $4,000.
it's
So
crazy.
because we have the alert, it still shows us, and the cost of that trip would have been double had we not jumped on it when we did. So get a sense of like the up and the down and the up and the down. And when you see the lowest, and then when you see it go up, when you see it come down again, like grab it, and then that saves you a ton. Saved us over $2,000 on our airfare.
And then you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So just be flexible with your schedule. So for
off-season.
example, like book off season. For example, like the Caribbean off season would be November to early December. You're going to get the best rates if you want to go to the Caribbean. And then I just pulled 2 different types of cruises for the Mediterranean, November through March. So those are the off seasons for those 2 particular kinds of cruises. And, that will help you get the best deals.
And I'll
on
tell you
that.
what, and we have had good luck with that
We
because
have.
November and December we get really good rates.
Yeah.
We have a really good rate on a cruise over Thanksgiving, and then we have a really good rate at the beginning of December on another cruise. It's a Caribbean cruise, and it'll be second year in a row we did it like that.
So
And
cruising on the high season travel asks, do you always have to fly? 99% of the time we do.
we flew to everyone so far. The first one we're driving to, we're going to cruise out of New Jersey on January 23rd, and we're driving to that one because we have 6 of us going on that one, and our adult kids are coming with us, and the airfare is just too much,
It's much.
and we don't want to see them have to pay all that. So we're going to just do a 2-vehicle caravan.
On the
We're going to drive
road again.
there. So
just can't wait to
be
get
about
on
a
the road again.
9.5-hour drive, and we're just gonna
convoy it.
And I don't mind doing it because
Yadi.
the way the cruise is timed, we'll leave Thursday late afternoon, early afternoon Thursday, and get there late. But when we come home, we're gonna come home on a Friday, and I'll be off Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
So we'll get off the ship and get to our cars by 8 o'clock in the morning. Hit the road.
We could take our time.
Then take your time getting home, and then I'll have the weekend off, which would be nice.
So the next tip I'm really excited about because Eddie and I never used a travel agent before. We always booked our own cruises because we're a little bit of control freaks, and it was so much work on my part. I was constantly on the phone. Like I'd be researching. When we book a cruise, you want to pay attention to the rates. You always want to look like you're go out there like you're booking a cruise for the first time and go like spy on the cruise that you've already booked.
And when you book it, make sure you get a refundable
yes,
deposit.
always refundable deposit.
Yes.
Always pick that option.
So that way, if the price goes down, you get an adjustment.
Yes. So what I have found is that one of the biggest benefits of using a travel agent is that you have somebody that will do that work for you. They know the cruises that you've booked, and instead of you sitting on the phone when you notice that a price rate has dropped, you have not paid off your cruise yet. You can get a hold of your travel agent and say, "Hey, will you just randomly like go look at all my cruises and make sure that I'm getting the best rate imaginable?" And usually what they can do is one of two things. Either if the rate of the cruise, if it's not paid for in full, they can go in there and they can have them adjust the cost of your cruise to the better rate. And you'll either get onboard credit.
Well, they can just reduce your rate at that time. But if you pay for it in full,
yes,
then they'll give you
onboard credit, or they'll give you, some kind of a refund for that.
Before we used a travel agent, we did this ourselves on all of our cruises. So we monitored the cruise prices constantly, and we had cruises where she contacted them 2 and 3 times before we sailed, and we got on the ship with $600, $800 onboard credit. Because another thing we do, to lock in these deals early when they're a great deal and to help pay for it and get it budgeted out on our plan, is we'll use Uplift's interest-free financing.
Yeah,
okay?
Well, gee, plus they see group rates that you don't see online. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's another good one. And but the Uplift program works out great for us. Carnival had an Easy Pay program before, where it came right out of your checking account each month, and we love that.
Yes.
And they did away with that. Now
they still have it.
No, you got to use a credit card.
You have to use
it doesn't come out of your checking account.
Right.
And it just becomes stupid because now you still have to go contact someone to make a payment. You got to pay your credit card every month.
That is for Eddie and I. I mean, everybody has their own ways in which they, afford their vacations and they choose to finance their cruises. But Eddie and I are really big on, we are not charging anything and we are not financing anything because our vacations are expensive enough. So we are going to pay cash.
We don't pay interest, but Uplift allows us to pay it off up front. But again, we will not do a cruise fare where we get locked in.
No.
Where the price drops, we can't get onboard credit back. So that's an important thing.
Hi, Brian. Brian from Hobby Cruises.
Oh, hey, Brian. How you doing, buddy? So that we make sure that we can't get, because say you lock in and you pay for your cruise up front and it's set up where the fare is adjustable and you can't get credit for that and it drops by half, you just paid too much for your cruise. So, a lot of people say wait and pay for it right at the very end, pay it off at the very end. Don't pay it pay on it.
Yeah.
But leave the balance open until the very last minute in case something like that happens.
But something that Royal does it as well, because we are booked on the inaugural sailing of Icon of the Seas. I reached out to our travel agent and I said, hey, can you look and tell me, can we make monthly payments on this? Because it's a pretty pricey cruise and I want to start paying on it now. I don't want to wait till the last minute. And they do. They take, it's, I believe, every 2 weeks, which I get paid every 2 weeks. So it works out perfectly. I can do a payment every 2 weeks out of every payday. And then I will have my cruise paid off in October, 0 interest. And that's all paid off. And I don't have to worry about it because I'm making payments on it. And it's much more manageable worrying about this in April than worrying about this in July or August when you only have a couple of months to pay off.
Okay, and there's another thing.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be on Icon. I'm so excited to meet you too.
It's going to be cool. That ship is going to be packed.
Yes.
With people we know. And then another good tip on getting a good rate is, I don't know if that's so true right now. Demand for cruising is so high right now. But when demand is at its normal level where it's not out of control, 60 to 90 days out, the cruise lines were notorious for doing discounted rates to fill the ship up. Now the ships are filling up ahead of time. Take Icon of the Seas. That filled up. They charging an exorbitant amount of cruise fare for that sailing, for that inaugural sailing, and it sold out right away. But historically, if you wait like 60 to 90 days out, like, so you're looking, you decide, hey, why don't we go on a cruise like in June?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so you start looking and you can find some killer deals 60 to 90 days out. So
Mm-hmm.
that's also an option
Yeah.
to look at. And another thing,
Which falls in line, the next point falls in line with the Black Friday and also the Cyber Monday. But just in general, different cruise lines offer different drink package and dining package deals. Like, just be watching. Like, I know you get a million emails, and I know that there's so many different cruise lines and it's hard to
but
keep track.
your travel
But
agent
pay
can track it for
attention.
you too.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
We've gotten deals on drink packages. I know Royal has a buy one, get one 50% off. I've seen, I can't remember the deal that I think we did get the buy one 50% off on our last Royal
well,
cruise.
when you do Royal, you definitely don't want to do. You want to wait and make sure the
Yes.
drink package is on sale
Yes.
before you buy it.
Yes.
So that's a good idea. And with Carnival, it really doesn't go on sale. They'll do like special incentives for VIFP
Yeah.
members where they'll give you the drink package free. I've heard of people
Mhm.
getting that. They've never done it to us.
Yeah.
Where you at, Carnival? Where's your free
I
drink
mean,
package?
we've never gotten that Carnival.
But anyways, another good thing to wait on that kind of thing, specialty dining. A lot of cruise lines will do package deals where they'll give you discounts if you book 3 specialty dining restaurants on your cruise, whatever. But waiting to book those closer to your cruise is a good thing to do. And the other good reason to do it is if for some reason your cruise is canceled or you have to cancel your cruise, that's less money you'll have tied up in the cruise that you're trying to get back.
True story.
So by waiting, you can pay for your drink package like days before you get on the ship.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi, all that stuff. But they do run sales on those items on a lot of the cruise lines.
And Yadi brings up a really good point that keep buy it when it's on sale, but keep watching because you may be able to get a better sale and you can cancel it, get a refund, and rebook it at the sale price.
And that falls in line with us saying monitor your cruise rates because they could drop. Another thing you do, you could be booked in and then get a casino rate and go check your cruise and find out, oh my gosh, with this casino rate, it's hundreds of dollars less. And we've done that.
Yes.
We contacted Carnival and said, hey, but we got a casino rate now. And then, what we usually do is we upgrade our room or do something with that money, or we just put it for onboard credit to spend in the casino again.
Yeah. And the thing that I will tell you though, is that when you get those deals that say, free drinks while you're in the casino, this is me. Okay, you do you might have a different experience, but I don't feel that you get quick enough service in the casino to get your drinks to where that's worthwhile, especially if you're in the mood.
No, it's not worthwhile even if you're working your drinks because you got to sit in there gambling while you're drinking.
True.
So you're paying for every one of those drinks because you're pumping money into the machine or on the table, whatever you're doing. I like the deals that people get where it's free drinks anywhere on the ship.
Yes.
They haven't given us one of those
We have
yet.
not received one of those.
I was going to also mention probably one of the best money-saving things you can do is book with the cruise line that does the all-inclusive package deals. Like Princess, Celebrity, Norwegian does it, and so does, I think MSC even does it.
Yeah.
And that's where they include everything. They include the drink package, your Wi-Fi, your tips, the gratuities are all figured in. So you don't get nickel and dime to death after you pay for your cruise fare. A lot of people, they look at like Carnival's cruise fares and Royal's cruise fares and they go, well, those are great discounted cruise rates. But when you start paying for alcohol packages or drink package, especially dining, Wi-Fi, you start paying for all that stuff. Those cruises end up being as much is the ones on Celebration and Celebrity and Princess.
Yeah.
And it might not sound right, but it's true. Like, for instance, we're doing an 8-day cruise with Celebrity. Mm-hmm. Drink package, Wi-Fi, gratuity, everything, right around $3,000 total with tax and everything. Yep. And 8-day on Carnival's costing us way more than that. Way more than that. I want to say,
to be fair,
closer to $3,800.
Yeah, but to be fair,
7-day cruise.
7-day versus 8-day, but the Celebration is a brand new ship.
Even if it wasn't Celebration, if it was the Horizon, if it was the Vista, if it was it would still be more than that.
Yeah, you're right.
Because that's where they get you. They get you on the drink package. Like we have $1,150 to pay for our drink package. on the celebration cruise, and I believe the cruise fare is around 2,600, something like that.
So to
So
be
you're at
honest with you,
3,700, and that you don't have Wi-Fi,
yeah,
and that's not in there yet. So
the drink package itself is another cost-effective thing for you to consider as well. Eddie and I have talked about this. I can't even tell you how many times. We like the fact that when we purchase the drink package, we don't have to worry about what we're spending. I mean, not that we worry about it that much, but I don't like surprises. So I don't want to, at the end of the day or at the end of the cruise to look and see that we have a $1,500 bill.
I don't want to be counting my drinks.
No.
And I don't want to count them the other way too. I don't want to be going, oh my gosh, if I don't have 10 beers every day, I'm losing money on this drink package, So I gotta make sense some mixed drinks to bring up my average price. I don't do that either.
So you know yourself, and you know what your habits are. And if you want a stress-free, and you know that you're going to have at least 6 or 7 adult beverages from your Bloody Mary, beverage in the morning to your dirty martini, while you're listening to live music at night. If you know that you're going to have 6 or 7 adult beverages throughout the day, then the drink package will.
Now, if you're strictly beer, you're going to be around 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Depending if it's $6 or $8 beers. But those cocktails she's talking about, they're between $12 and $14 each. So that adds up pretty quick.
And I like martinis. I like the expensive drinks.
And I
so it's worth it for me.
I'm 75% beer, and then I'm like 25% everything else. So it works out for us. But one of the things you can do to save money, though, if you're not real big drinkers, a real big money saver is drinking in the ports. The alcohol in the ports, especially like in Mexico, it is cheap to drink in Mexico, man. I mean, you go there, get premium beer, and it is cheap. It's like $2 beers, $3 beers at the most. Some of the places are some of them are tourist traps, like Senior Frogs. You don't really get a killer deal there. I think they're $6 beers. You pay like $35 for a bucket of 6 beers, something like that. But a lot of the small places you'll go to, the beer is really affordable.
So Will G just asked if Carnival is the only line that makes both people in the cabin get the drink package. No. But I will tell you this, Will G. I have seen people on Royal Caribbean, like for example, I saw this one lady whose husband had a medical reason that he could not, the medication he was on, he cannot drink. I saw Royal Caribbean was.
They do that with Carnival too.
They can be lenient with some kind of a medical excuse. Now, I'm just telling you what I've seen on group pages. I've seen that Royal was a little bit more lenient about that than Carnival was. Carnival did cave and cater to the people that absolutely could not drink, but they gave them a little bit rougher of a time. Royal was a little bit more understanding about it. But no, if you have a legit reason that you cannot drink, you have some kind of documentation to back that up, then you
can't just say, hey, they don't drink.
Yeah, you can't say, oh, he doesn't drink.
But
they're not gonna.
But here's the deal, though. If they don't drink, it makes more sense. Don't get the drink package for yourself, because if you're going to be paying for both of you to have the drink package, you're not going to drink that much yourself. Just pay for it as you go. Pay for it at the end, whatever, and you'll be further ahead.
Right.
Because it just makes no sense to pay for 2 if one of you isn't drinking. Now, the other argument is the drink package includes the Cheers package includes, and the premium beverage package on Royal and Celebrity and you name it, NCL includes
specialty coffees,
everything but like Starbucks,
right?
On these cruise lines, but you can get your Gatorade, your energy drinks, all these different, and all your sodas is all included. So the soda package, I think on Royal's $29 a day or $29. Yeah, I think it's $29 a day or something. Yeah, it's expensive. So that's included with the drink package. But again, it just depends. You can save money though if you are drinking light when you're on the ship and do heavier drinking when you're off the ship. A lot of people do that. And you see all these crazy people smuggling alcohol on the ship. There's so many people doing that. There's like TikTok channels dedicated to these people going through all kinds of, like a science program at home, trying to figure out how to put vodka in wine bottles
Yeah.
and resealing them and doing all that stuff.
I mean,
Dude,
that's fine, but I
got-
don't want to drink in my room.
I'm not going to cheat like
Yeah,
that.
I'm not gonna.
I just,
yeah,
I don't do that, man.
we're,
It's
we're
like,
not that big of drinkers that we're
No.
going to be like drinking in our room and hiding it and
Well,
or walking. You're allowed
no,
to
they
take,
don't even do that.
Well,
They
I
take it
know.
right out on the Lido deck.
but you can carry, like, you can take wine bottles and stuff on there. I'm not going to be walking around with my own wine bottle. I'll be honest with you. I like martinis, but it tastes better when someone else makes it for me.
The one thing I do know that when they do catch these people smuggling stuff on, they just basically usually just pour it out. I've never heard of anyone not being allowed on the ship after trying to
Yep.
do
So
that.
Yadi brought up a great point on Royal. You can get the shakes at Johnny Rockets. It's for all drinks, but alcohol. She always gets that package, the beverage one, the general
Okay.
beverage one. So we have
Now-
2 more points to make.
Okay, parking.
Yes.
Now, parking, if you're driving to the port, you're going to get, or if you're flying and you're driving to your airport,
Mhm.
you're going to get your best parking at off-site private parking lots than you will parking at the airport or parking at the cruise terminal. So a lot of people suggest that you do your research before you get there and find local parking lots in the vicinity. A lot of them will have their own shuttles,
Mhm.
and you can park for half as much, and they will shuttle you for free to the cruise terminal. So you will find that in a lot of cities.
So let's use our particular airport as an example. We use a private parking lot at the Detroit airport, and it's called US Park.
Yeah.
And that costs us, what, $11 a day to park?
Yeah,
And what is the actual airport parking?
$28.
28.
So
So 28, 11, it saves you a
we just got to get
fortune.
there 10 minutes earlier.
Yep.
And as soon as we pull in and park, we just wait, and the shuttle comes. You get on the shuttle. They drive you to the airport, drop you right off at arrivals, and you go right in the airport. And they do the same thing in the cruise port cities, and a lot of them. They will have lots, private lots, where you can park, and they will shuttle you to the cruise port. I can't say it's in all the cruise port cities, but it's a pretty common thing that I have read about and seen. And the reason I'm getting familiar with that is because we are going to be driving for the first time
Yep.
to a cruise port.
Yep.
So the other thing too, and again, for those of you that fly, before you book, and you're going to fly in the day before because you're not taking any chances,
Yes.
you have to, the next step, find a hotel.
Mhm.
Because you can't assume you're going to find a hotel easily, because there could be a Star Wars convention in town. There could be something going on in that city you don't know nothing about, some kind of major concert, sporting event.
Gary Manning could be on tour. I mean, you don't know.
Yeah, you just never know. And people come from miles around to see Gary
I mean,
Manning.
I would.
And so you need to make sure you can get a hotel, because there's been a couple times where we went and looked, and I'm like, what is going on? I mean, we barely found a hotel, because then we find out there's some kind of major event taking place in that port city area at the time. So make sure you check your airfare, you check for a hotel, and then you book. That way you cover all your bases, and you don't want to have a shock like we had one where we found out she won a contest. She won a trip to Miami. That's what they call it. It was basically a gift card for $1,500. That's what it really was. And when she first won it, we could fly round trip to Miami for $1,000. Actually less than that, for like $700. So we're like, awesome. We'll get our airfare to Miami. We'll get our hotel. We're going to fly down there 2 days early. This is going to be epic. We're going to have to pay for anything. Well, it took her company almost 3 months before they came through with the gift card. The airfare went up to $2,000 for round trip, just for the two of us.
Yes.
$2,000. And I'm like, if we would have known that when we booked that cruise, now we checked the airfare earlier, and if we were doing it, we were planning on paying for the airfare ourselves, we would have bought the airfare. Was like $700. We would have hammered and knocked that down, but we weren't really watching it because we got the company's money. She won. It's like, we're gonna be good. My God, you know how much that hurt to go into our pocket, and throw another $525 in the pot.
We thought it was going to be
to cover just the airfare, and then we said to pay for our hotels, and we're just going like
the two. And I apologize if you mentioned this, but when you're booking that hotel, there's 2 things that you can pay attention to that will save you a ton of money. Make sure that your hotel has a shuttle that will pick you up at the airport and take you to the hotel. You don't have to Uber. You don't have to take a taxi. You don't have to worry about getting from the airport to the hotel that you booked.
No, well,
that saves you
just with one little
Caveat.
Yeah, one little caveat. You're not going to get that if you stay at any hotel that isn't near the airport.
True.
Okay, so if you're at the airport but you want to stay at the cruise port, you're not going to get a shuttle from a cruise port.
That's true.
Hotel all the way there. It's usually when you see all those shuttles at the airport, those are hotels that are in the general vicinity, probably within a 3-mile radius. I mean, there's tons of hotels, and that's great, and it does save you a lot of money because you don't have to pay $25 a taxi or Uber to get to your hotel.
Right.
But you're still going to have to do something in the morning to get from your airport hotel to the cruise terminal area, cruise terminal.
Right.
A lot of times we end up staying at the cruise terminal, near the cruise terminal. Right. So we fly in and we jump in a taxi, and we've done a taxi a lot of times, guys. Now, a taxi might cost a few more bucks, but for us, we have found Uber drivers a lot of times don't know where the hell they're going.
They
don't know where they're going. And especially when cruising reopened
and
it was shut down for 16 months and all these new Uber drivers were out there that didn't know nothing about cruising and that was a thing and didn't know where the cruise terminals were. We had a guy that didn't speak English, took us to a wastewater treatment facility.
He was like this,
7 miles away,
driving around going, no habla inglés. I don't know what you are saying to me.
Us, we're in the back, and we should have went on Google Translate,
right?
But we didn't even think about it.
But I kept saying no. Carnival cruise.
We're like,
we were at a water
boat, ship.
Yes.
Ship.
Yes.
Boat. And then finally goes ship. And I'm like, yes. And I go, we drove by the ships. And then he knew what we were talking about. And then he got us there.
Yes.
But the point is,
the
taxi cabs they know where everything's at.
My 9th grade Spanish teacher failed me in that moment.
No, you failed your 9th grade Spanish teacher.
No, she failed me.
Did. Just like if we were in France, I would have failed my 9th and 10th grade French teacher because I can't speak any French.
Mrs. Nance.
You can lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink. And
so
we're not drinking.
But having horses. The ability it's two-sided. Having the hotel provide a shuttle to the port is good. But here, I'll be honest with you, I don't like that. The reason I don't like that is because there's usually like 50 people that are wanting that service from the hotel. And I have found, and we are too impatient to wait for that shuttle most of the time. But we end up Ubering anyway.
The problem is luggage.
Yeah.
Right. The luggage is the problem. And we had one where we got in a shuttle and they pulled a trailer and they loaded the utility trailer full of our luggage. And that was great.
Yeah.
Everybody was able to comfortably sit in the shuttle. And it was great. I think I forget where that one was at. But it
was really organized. Like the guy was like in charge, was like really on top of it. And he was like, girls to the left, boys to the right, run. And it was awesome.
We paid like $10 and I don't believe he segregated us by sex.
It just sounded good.
But yeah, we paid $10, I think, for that one. And again, sometimes it's worth spending a little more money to know you're going to get there and not be lost. You know what I'm saying? So the Uber guys they're good, but sometimes you're
yes. So you can go on you can have patience and go on the shuttle from the hotel that they know where they're going and just be like, get there when you get there.
Yeah.
Or you can risk it, roll the dice, and get in an Uber, and hopefully your guy knows where the heck he's going.
We've done
Good night, Will G.
We've done Will G.
Good night. Together we travel.
We have had a ton of Ubering experiences in other U.S. cities all over the place. And I would say we are successful with Uber 75% of the time.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. So there's 1 out of 4 times there's going to be something go weird.
But it's always a good story, though.
Yeah.
It's always a good story.
But the taxi cabs, I was talking about the airport.
Yeah.
When you get out at the airport and you walk out there to the taxi cab stand,
yeah,
you go right up to that stand and you tell them, hey, I need a ride to whatever my hotel is.
I'm so happy to see you, Charlene.
And those cabs, they're lined up. And then he looks at what luggage you have and he puts you in a vehicle that will hold your luggage. Some of those Uber guys show up and your luggage will not fit in their vehicle.
Hold on, I got to do just a little patience. Yeah. That's my XO Rose, Gary. It's all I got for you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's, I don't know, man. It's so... I will pay the extra $7-8 to do a cab.
You and I are not known for our patience. We are not patient people.
It's not patience. It's you're taking risks. I'm not a risk taker.
Oh, yay. Charlene just got back from her Panama Canal cruise.
Oh,
it was
awesome.
incredible. I'm so excited, Charlene. I would love to hear all about it.
Awesome. Yeah,
So, guys, I think we covered everything.
that's one of our bucket list ones.
It is.
All right, so next week we are going to be talking about Alaska cruises, why you should cruise Alaska, why we want to cruise Alaska. You know how many people I tell we're going to Alaska are like, why?
Give me a third point because I look dumb holding up 2 fingers.
What am I doing?
I don't know, something else.
Okay.
What we're doing next week. And
that's it.
Oh,
and we're going to talk about that because like I've been, we're up here in Detroit, right?
Oh, did they lose audio?
No.
Can you hear us? Are you saying I blew up the speaker when I sang?
I think it was because you're standing there holding your finger up in there and you weren't talking.
No, I think I was saying and I broke our sound system.
Okay, you probably did. But especially here. All right, so
they can hear. See,
I know they can hear us because I can see.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we hit like almost 80 degrees, like 3 days in a row, high 70s. It goes right back down to the 30s, and everybody here, we're sick of the bullshit weather here because it won't turn into spring. And all my buddies are like, bro, why are you going to Alaska? And then there's people that think Alaska is nothing but snow everywhere. It's like, it's so silly. So it's a really funny one. And there's people are like, you're so lucky you're going to Alaska. I always wanted to go to Alaska. So it's a polarizing cruise. So next week we're going to get into that. We're going to get into what we like about the idea of going to Alaska.
Yep.
She's been to Alaska.
I have.
So she has firsthand experience seeing Alaska.
Yeah. I was only in Ketchikan though.
But for 30 days.
Yeah,
that's longer than most cruisers are ever going to be in Alaska, right? So she was there before. So she knows what it's like. I'm going to be seeing it for the first time. The boys are going to be seeing it for the first time. And honestly, when we told our sons about it, they're like, Alaska,
what? The wild frontier.
Is there Eskimos?
Are we going to see polar bears?
Eskimos?
They did not say that.
Yeah, bro.
I just remember that when I was 14 or 15, I can't remember how old I was when I was there. I remember it was so absolutely beautiful that you couldn't help but just feel like this is something I will never experience again in my life. And I'm so excited to get to see it again.
And it's really odd from a packing standpoint because we're so used to, we talked about this in another life.
Yeah, we have all tropical clothes.
Yeah, my cruise clothes, man. I got a selection of bucket hats, tropical polo shirts, colorful shorts, all this, multiple, swim trunks, all that kind of stuff, flip-flops, all that stuff. And now we're going to be going somewhere where we won't put shorts on at all. It's going to be a high of 50, low of 30 for the whole cruise. So it's got to take hoodies, jeans, dockers, that kind of stuff. And the boys, they're going with us, and we're like looking like, oh my gosh, all of us, all of our polo shirts and short sleeve button shirts, they're all tropical, like that kind of stuff. We had to buy some plain colored polo shirts for me and the boys.
Kathy, I think that they absolutely will. I think Eddie will too. And Charlene, we're going to talk about that next week. We're going to talk about how the heck you pack for Alaska.
And yeah, we will be doing that. And that's the other thing. We're going to get packing this weekend before our next live. And then we can get into all that.
Yep. So we want to respect your time. And we thank you all so very much for hanging out.
We love having you guys here.
We love you all so sincerely. We'll see you next Tuesday, okay?
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.